morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're listening and where you're listening. The show is NXT Talk. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Ojo! How's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well. Boris, it's a nice, warm October morn here in Toronto. It's beautiful. Kind of looks like it might rain a little bit, but the temp is good.
Yeah, the temperature is crazy for mid-October, mid to late October. It's a beautiful day, and you know what else was beautiful? NXT programming for the past week or so. Because on this week's show, we're going to be talking NXT from October 19th, 2021. And then on NXT UK Corner, we're going to be reviewing the show from October 14th, featuring a NXT UK title match that will probably be spoken of in many lists for top match of the year.
I can tell you we'll be talking about it twice before this year is over, Boris. That match was incredible. I would hear an argument that was the best match of last week, even ahead of the great Danielson versus Suzuki match. I'd have to really think about it and place it in the list, but it was a banger and a half.
Yeah, for sure. It really was. It was so good. Like, you just watched it, right? So it's like really fresh in your mind. So it's like, you know, you still have that half chubby from that match.
Still in the afterglow, Boris.
Love it. So how's everything, man?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty solid. Yeah, we are a little late to it this week. We apologize. Hopefully we will be back in person immediately after the show every week going forward. Yeah, Boris's apartment's still dusty and underwater, but we're figuring it out.
Yeah, it's more dusty than anything else. And it's not like it's the equipment. I don't want to put out the equipment and have dust go into the electrical equipment and the mixer and all that fun stuff that we use. But yeah, hopefully at least NXT Talk we can get in person. But yeah, we'll see what's going on. There's a lot going on. BAM tomorrow. We have a lot to talk about as well. Tons of G1. The G1 finals are set as of now, Tuesday, 8:15 in the morning. I'm not spoiling it. I'm just saying it's set. Let me fucking say it's set. Calm the fuck down.
No, I didn't want to jump down your throat. I just wanted to preemptively jump in front of that train just in case you were about to spoil it, both for the listeners and selfishly for myself, because I haven't seen it.
You've known me for many years now. When the hell have I ever spoiled anything?
That's true. That was performative on my part, Boris. I trust you, buddy. I just wanted to say it for the listeners.
You gotta get the back and forth. You gotta get some material sometimes on this show. Because, if anything, this show leaves us wanting material. However, that said, this week's show was actually pretty good. I didn't watch it live. I was watching the Dodgers do their thing.
They pulled it out for you, buddy.
They did. That sigh was more of a sigh of relief.
Yeah, they needed your moral support, and I'm glad you were there for the team. NXT Talk. You're not gonna wait 8 hours, buddy. The Dodgers needed you. But yeah, I do agree. It was a pretty good show. I think it was the best 2.0 show. Yeah.
Overall, it really was. There was only one thing that I would say was questionable, to not good. But yeah, we'll get to everything very soon. But before we do that, Matt, we have one piece of business that we have to get to, and that is our star rating system. If you've heard us before, you know that we are done with star ratings, and every week we have a rating du jour. This week is no different. So Matt, what are you thinking we do?
Well, I'm thinking this week in honor of the great Carmelo Hayes, who calls his shot and does not miss, Boris. In honor of maybe the great Babe Ruth as well, we could say called shots out of 5 this week on NXT Talk.
All right, I like that. Let's do that. So we are going to be talking NXT TV, NXT 2.0 from October 19th, 2021. So this is the Halloween Havoc Go Home show. Halloween Havoc is also our 1-year anniversary. How crazy is that?
That's wild, man. I'm glad we've been able to do it every week, and we added a second podcast. It's going well. Thank you to everyone who listened. But yeah, man, crazy.
Yeah.
1 year.
there's only been 1 week where you couldn't make it. Like that's pretty good. But yeah, all right. So NXT 2.0 opens up with a video package on how Carmelo Hayes captured the NXT North American title by quote unquote cashing in his breakout tournament title shot on Isaiah Swerve Scott. We go into the Performance Center. Vic Joseph welcomes us, and we go right to the ring because it's time to introduce the new NXT North American Champion, Carmelo Hayes, with Trick Williams. Trick is the one to take the mic first, and he asks Alicia to announce Hayes as a champion again. The fans were 100% behind him. It's crazy the reaction that he's getting, eh?
Yeah, definitely. They just kind of decided that these guys were heels, but the fans did not go along. The fans love Carmelo Hayes, and he could be what Hit Row should have been, in that he could be a cool heel for like 6 months to a year. Leave him like this. Don't just change him now that he's like this. Like, actually leave him as a cool heel who the fans can get behind organically.
Yeah, 100%. And there's another team that we're going to, or another duo that we're going to be talking about later that they need to completely redo. But, all right, yes. So the fans are cheering for Hayes. He gets a "You deserve it" chant. Trick says that they look good, but most importantly, they have gold now. Like they told us weeks ago, they guaranteed it, and here they are. He goes on about how they're not humble, and he hypes Mellobration for tonight. Fans chant for Hayes as he stands tall in the middle of the ring. He talks about coming on the scene 4 months ago, blowing through the breakout tournament to prove that he is the final boss, then walking around for 2 months and waiting for the right opportunity to take what's his. Hayes says last week he pulled a swerve on Swerve himself. Hayes says that he tells us that to tell us this: when he shoots, he don't miss. And of course, we get a "he don't miss" chant starting from the crowd. Hayes says from this point on, he's calling the shots. He's the team captain, the leader of the new school, and as long as the titles are on his waist, it is the A championship, and we will refer to it as that. He doesn't care if the fans, officials, or NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa have a problem with it, because he said what he said. And of course, this prompts someone to come out, and I was actually quite surprised at who came out. That was none other than Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Rasslin, man, I am excited for this little Carmelo Hayes versus Gargano match. Doesn't look like there's enough time for it on Halloween Havoc, but we're going to get that very soon.
And again, I kind of like the formula that they're kind of going, right? Like, they have this big show, whether it be a WCW pay-per-view or a takeout, and then there's always a one program that they're still building on, and we're gonna probably get that the next TV.
That makes a lot of sense. You can't just, you need something for that show. So I kind of like this formula. I can see it lasting.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that it's like one of the few things that has still stood tall from NXT 1.0. Anyways, so Johnny Gargano's coming out. Trick says, "Who's disrespecting the champ?" Gargano says, the energy in the room has changed. Welcome back, chance start. He formally introduces himself to Hayes. He says he's had his eye on him. Gargano's had the NXT North American title more than anyone, and just wanted to come out and congratulate Hayes. We get a Johnny Wrestling chant. He says that this is a Mellobration and it's fun, and he's been having a lot of fun lately with things like weddings, bachelor parties, but now that Austin Theory is on Raw, Candice LeRae is at home, Indy Hartwell is married, he's lost his way, but he's trying to find out what's next for him. He thinks that what's next is staring at him right in the face. He thinks that going back to doing things like it used to be is the right thing to do. Gargano says Hayes might not miss when he shoots, but there's a first time for everything. Trick says Gargano should be worrying about his daughter because she's been in his DMs all week. Trick brags about how Indy loves him and Hayes. Gargano briefly jokes around with Trick, taunting him, and then says his son-in-law is right behind him, and this brings out Dexter Lumis, who just so happens to be standing right behind him. Hayes and Trick swing at Lumis, but he ducks, looks to apply the silence on Trick. Trick and Hayes are dumped from the ring. Lumis and Gargano are standing in the middle of the ring as the fans quickly chant for Lumis again. Yep, and then they give us the thumbs up. There was a lot that actually happened in this short promo. And, as I'm taking notes, I'm like, I've been like skipping a lot of stuff, but I feel like there were a few important takeaways from here. Number one, they mention Austin Theory on Raw. That to me, again, it's that blending of the main roster and NXT, which is something that you never saw before, and we're seeing more and more of now.
Yeah, that's huge. That's definitely important. They also officially kind of said that Indy has split from the way. Like, she is officially kind of on her own now with Persia Pirotta. So, and I guess Dexter Lumis. But Dexter Lumis seems to be more part of the group than Indy does at this point. Anyway, I think we are going to get a tag team match in 2 weeks, the show after Halloween Havoc. It's probably going to be Mello and Trick versus Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis. And then 3 weeks to a month away, we're going to get that awesome main event North American title match. But yeah, I thought this was a really good promo. This is the best start of the show promo I've seen WWE do in a minute, in a very, very long time.
Well, the thing is, right, it's to the point, and it was short, and it was good, and it sets up a new program. Oftentimes, these promos just drag and drag and drag and set up a match for later in the night, which is okay. But, right now, we don't know who's going to be on NXT next week or the week after that or the week after that. So I kind of like how they kind of keep it they keep it,
compartmentalized?
That's the word. And focused, but at the same time kind of trying to get a long-term program, long-term for NXT program going.
Yes. 3 weeks to a month is long term for this current NXT product, for sure. But yeah, no, I just thought this was a really strong promo. Like you said, it had a point, and oftentimes we'll see a 20-minute Raw promo that kind of has no point, kind of just tells you a bunch of stuff that you already know and books the match that was booked on social media anyway. So this was actually a really cool little, not a swerve, but it was nice. It was a nice surprise to see Johnny come out. I like this promo a lot.
You know what's actually hilarious? In my fantasy takeover, I called this match.
Oh, did you? Yeah, good call. Good call, big homie. Way to go.
Barry Horowitzing myself right now.
Literally, I saw it. He literally did it.
Not a euphemism. All right. So yeah, that was a fun little opening. So we're going to get to the first match, which was Odyssey Jones versus Andre Chase. We get back from commercial. Andre Chase is making his way out. We see the little group of students that he has. He's calling them out. He's calling them the student section. And we get right into the ring, or right into the match. This match was pretty short. If anything, this match was once again to put Odyssey Jones over, which I just don't understand why LA Knight beat him a few weeks ago. But, doesn't matter because, again, it's NXT 2.0. It's developmental. So, here we are. Andre Chase, he's a fun goofball heel, but I feel that this is literally going to be his role moving forward, at least for the next little bit. But it is the Odyssey Jones show. He does show a lot of potential in the grand scheme of things. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, ton of potential. He's still very limited. I thought Andre Chase worked really hard in this match. His selling was both funny and not like Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan funny in like a pro wrestling way. Like, he made Odyssey Jones look like $1 million. It was very short, but I actually really took a lot away from Andre Chase here. I'm surprised people think he sucks. Online, he doesn't get enough love. Andre Chase is good. This character is good. He's doing a good job, period.
You know what it is? If they retooled this character just a little bit and he didn't wear that stupid university sweater from the 1920s, I think people would take him a lot more serious. It's the getup, right? I think
the getup is jobberific.
Yeah, that's the issue. But I think that the character itself is good, and he's a good worker. Again, Odyssey Jones, I have issues with his in-ring. He's very green. He does some stuff that it'll be interesting to see kind of where he goes. But he scares me a little bit. That's what I'm going to say. He scares me a little bit in the ring. But yeah, long story short, or short story long, however you want to say it, Odyssey Jones kind of dominated. He kind of splashed Chase in the corner. He did he rolled him into the middle of the ring. Jones was all smiles. He hits another splash in the middle of the ring. Got the pin for the win in 2 minutes, 58 seconds.
Yes, the world's strongest splash, as it was. Just a running big splash on the mat. And yeah, I would say this was as high as 3 called shots out of 5, Boris, for a 60% Carmelo Hayes percentage on this one, just because of Andre Chase's personality and his selling in this match. I really think he helped to make it an above average WWE squash. So we'll give it a C.
Yep, I agree 100%. So Diamond Mine walking backstage, Malcolm Bivens talks about how all these people want a title shot without earning one, when week after week the Creed brothers have earned a shot. He goes on to and says that after seeing how NXT works now, he's decided that Diamond Mine will just take what they want.
So I really like this promo. The way they shot it was really funny because he started coming down. It looked like out of gorilla position and into the ring. It kind of looked like they were doing, right?
Yep.
But the walkway wasn't long enough for the promo. So it like really started being that this cool little promo where he's walking to the ring and then they just stopped like 12 steps in and then just kind of awkwardly sat there cutting the promo. And the promo was so good that you kind of didn't notice, but it was kind of funny that they were doing this thing and they were just like, oh shit, we're out of room. We better stop walking.
I noticed that too. It was hilarious.
I really like this promo though. And we're now like, we're into this show. I enjoyed the first squash match and I enjoyed the first 2 promos and I'm like, okay, NXT. Okay, 2.0, let's do it.
Yeah, agreed 100%. So this essentially takes us straight into your boys, the Creed brothers versus Imperium.
So, terrible decision because it was way too early to beat these Creed brothers. And obviously Imperium going to a tag team title feud can't afford to lose this at all. I kind of thought that the Creed brothers were going to crush Imperium and take the title shot, but that's not what they did. It appears Imperium is a babyface team now. I don't know, Boris, let's get into this thing.
Here's the thing. I think that on paper they are heels, but anyone who is on the same camera, on the same shot as MSK will be a face to the fans.
That's a really good point. But this match is then heel versus heel because Diamond Mine.
This was heel versus heel. This was 100% heel versus heel.
I accept your terms, Boris. I accept that.
Yeah. This was exactly that. You know who really impressed me in this match? Martel Barthel.
Oh man, he is so good, Marcel Barthel. He is just so crisp in the ring. Everything he does looks great. He takes a good bump too. He's an incredible in-ring wrestler. But yeah, this was only 5 minutes and 36 seconds, but the actual work that these guys did was really good. Julius is better than Brutus, but Brutus is coming along. But Imperium's an awesome team, man. They're so good in the ring.
The styles. So when I saw this match, that this match was gonna happen, in my mind, the styles were going to clash. You had a very technical team versus a amateur wrestling team. And for some reason, in my mind, I thought that it just wasn't going to work, but they made it work. Like, these guys are pretty good. The Creed brothers, man, I will be shocked that they're still in NXT in 6 months.
Yeah, I agree with that. If they're ever going to push the Cruiserweight title on the main roster, the Diamond Mine would be a good way to do it. Have Roderick Strong just hold that title, have the Creed brothers win a tag title, have Ivy Nile win a women's title, and there you go. You know what I mean? But yeah, I am quite liking this Diamond Mine group a lot, quite liking the Creed brothers. Julius is coming along. Do you want to touch on anything in the match before we hit the finish here?
No, like I said, it was like, I just liked this. This had some cool things. Like Bartel kind of snuck outside of out of holds. He kind of also inserted holds, and in a very Zack Sabre Jr.-ish kind of way. Like, I really liked it. He really worked well. And it was like amateur wrestling versus technical wrestling. Anything you want to call out before I jump to the finish?
There was one spot that was awesome when Barthel is just trying hard to wrestle. I think it was Brutus Creed, and Brutus Creed just herks him up into a gut wrench power bomb. Like, you can't wrestle me. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, so this match was going along great, and then the new tag team of Ikemen Jiro and Kushida ran down, began brawling with Diamond Mine. This causes, I believe it was Julius Creed, because he's the better one, to get distracted, and Marcel pins it was Julius, with an O'Connor roll, a deep one too, Zack Sabre Jr.-esque O'Connor roll to win the match in 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Cheesy bad ending, And they really, really didn't need to beat the Creek brothers so early, but I still couldn't go any lower than 3 called shots out of 5, Boris. It's a 60% Babe Ruth percentage.
Right. So here's the thing. I don't think this weakens anyone. You have this new feud with Ekman and Kushida versus the Creed brothers. And what I really liked about this ending is that there was no music. There was a legit distraction. And Julius is like, what the hell is going on? Well, like, what's happening with my team? And yeah, he gets rolled up for the win. I don't like the end, but, it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst booking that you can possibly get. So Imperium wins there. After the match, Diamond Mine fights Jiro and Kushida to the back. Officials try to restore order. Imperium poses in the ring until the NXT Tag Team Champs of MSK attack from behind. And boy, oh boy, did the Nextras boo.
Wow, they are hated, booing hard, this team. Like, they are full bore heels. And I do think NXT needs to lean into it and do a proper double turn at this next Halloween Havoc show, or at least a turn and make MSK clear heels in storyline. But man, they're already heels to the fans already.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. What? How? They're having, is it their promos? Is it just their style? It's not their in-ring, is it?
No, it's definitely not their in-ring. They're even you saw when they hit those flips in the show, the crowd still went, ooh, ah, they still, you can't hate on their in-ring. It's 100% their promos and their characters. 100,000%.
Yeah. Yeah. They need to lean into this. Off mic, they challenge him to a title match. So then we get a video package of Kyle O'Reilly at a nearby park on his bicycle, wearing a helmet and everything. Kyle is waiting for someone to arrive, and then your boy, Mr. Von Wagner, pulls up in a truck. Kyle asks where his bike is at. Von Wagner says, for what they're doing today, they don't need bikes. Vaughn introduces Kyle to some heavy workouts: logs, trees, pull-ups, branches, axes, chopping trees, more axes, more chopping, more pull-ups, more everything. It was like Rocky IV in Russia. They end the day with a few beers around the campfire. Kyle believes if they can get on the same page, they can cause a lot of damage. Vaughn agrees and says, let's kick some ass.
Man, so where they were running around and all the foliage and stuff, it reminded me a lot of Northern Ontario, where I grew up. I was just thinking, should I have been doing pull-ups on these trees? Could I be looking like Von Wagner? And then I was like, well, do I really want to look like Von Wagner? That's neither here nor there, boys. Don't mean to insult anybody. I thought this was awesome. I thought Von Wagner did a really good job. Kyle O'Reilly is way too much of a loser, but if that's going to be his character, he's doing a funny bit of character work with it. I just don't know why they make him such a... What?
I don't think he's doing character work. I think this is just Kyle O'Reilly.
Well, there you go. Well, if this is Kyle O'Reilly on 11, I think they're doing a good job with it. I actually quite enjoyed this promo too. I thought this was pretty good. This is pretty good stuff. Yeah, this is the kind of pro wrestling that I like to see, man. I really enjoyed this.
Yep. We go from something good to something I absolutely loathed, and that's a Cora Jade video package.
You're way too harsh on this poor young Cora Jade. 20 years old, Boris. Give her a chance.
No, I won't.
I refuse.
All right. And then back from the break, we see Joe Gacy. He's somewhere, dark room. He's speaking to the camera. He says what happened last week with NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa was a setback. They learned that the NXT ring may not be such a safe space after all, but their mission remains the same. Gacy says they don't need violence to get their message across, and no one needs to be triggered. He says a few more buzzwords, says he still speaks for the disenfranchised. He says he will speak for everyone as a coalition, and that they will be stronger together than as individuals. We see Gacy. He's actually talking to Harlan, who is on the other side of some plexiglass prison type thing. Gacy tells Harlan to take his hand, follow him, calling him a little snowflake. Harlan just glares at him to end the segment.
If they have Parker Bordeaux, who was supposed to be the next Brock Lesnar, who looks exactly like Brock Lesnar's little brother, and they call him Snowflake and shave his head, I'm might quit this podcast. If his wrestling name is Snowflake, I might actually quit the podcast. I might never watch NXT again.
No. I doubt that'll happen.
I'll also never quit this podcast. I'll never retire.
Look, but, if I didn't quit after the disrespect of Legado last week, I won't quit ever.
And this week.
Oh, don't even get me started, because that's what's happening right now.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Legado after this. We're going to talk about Legado after their tag team match, because it's just, anyways. All right, we go back to the ring.
Wait.
Okay.
Before we move on, I just wanted to say I did like this promo from Joe Gacy. I do think the twist needs to come, though. We need to see him being a vicious killer. He needs to wreck someone with a chair. He needs to do the twist, because as of right now, it's just like a lame character. It's just he's just HR guy still.
All right,
you know?
okay, Matt,
the
I'm going to stop you right there. Here's your thing. People want long-term booking, and you're like, this is taking too long.
Okay, that's fair, but not every story needs to be stretched out and rolled thin with a rolling pin. You know what I mean? Like, I just think he needs to show a little bit more viciousness. Clothesline a guy on the outside, hit a man with a chair, do something that tells us there's another side to this character, because right now he's just very one note, very bland almost.
Yep, I agree there. But like, what I just wanted to say is that, like, you know, we need to, you know, and you said it best, not everything needs long-term booking. Not everything needs to take weeks over weeks over weeks. You know, Tien Shaw comes to mind.
Yeah, a year of build-up for that. For
nothing.
But you're right. Yeah, exactly. You're right. I could exercise a little bit more patience on this one, perhaps.
All right, so back to the ring. Legado del Fantasma is out. The man, the myth, the legend, Santos Escobar, Elektra Lopez, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza are all together. Santos has the mic, and he says the first words he heard in the business were, "May God bless you with luck." He says the new NXT North American champion, Carmelo Hayes, is a lucky son of a bitch for winning the title last week, but his luck has vanished. Santo goes on to say that Lady Luck will find Hayes, but in the meantime, here's Elektra Lopez. He calls her La Madrina, which is essentially the godmother, you know, the matriarch of Legado. Elektra says she will set the record straight for Legado del Fantasma. Lopez takes the mic, but before she can even say a word, that rat scoundrel Cora Jade comes out.
How angry were you when Cora Jade interrupted a Legado promo? Your favorite act in NXT being interrupted by your least favorite act in NXT.
It was ridiculous. And you know what got me the most? Cora Jade trying to do her best Darby Allin impression. Just get off that roller coat. I'm done with it. I never even had to set.
Cora Jade on fire, Cora Jade, and I hate liars. Whoa, that's my Darby Allin theme impression.
I love it. So, the match starts, and boy, oh boy, was it a match. And not in a good way.
This was the worst thing on NXT TV this week. Thankfully, it was short, but it was a very sloppy, very indie first match level, 2 minutes. And Cora Jade pins Elektra Lopez with a small package. Boris, Cora Jade is the Goldberg of the NXT 2.0 women's division. 2-0. Who's next?
Sure. Like Santos Escobar.
Intergender. Oh no.
The way that they're booking Legados recently, you would think it would be.
Oh, that's hilarious. But this was bad. We're gonna go sizable fail. It's one called shot out of 5. It's a 20%. Owen Nolan in the All-Star game percentage.
I love it. No, but honestly, like, this was even a 1 in my opinion. Like, all joking aside, with with the Cora Jade and Legado stuff, even a 1 is being super generous. It was just super sloppy, and I gotta say, I'm a little concerned about Elektra Lopez and her ability right now. I'm not saying she's not gonna improve. Look at Raquel Gonzalez. But right now, as of today, Elektra Lopez has a lot to prove in the ring.
Say what you will about the AEW women's division, but one thing they get right is that they do get a lot of matches on Dark and on Dark Elevation. And they do get a lot of ring time. Now, you could argue that like a lot of the Jade Cargill, a lot of the Ty Conti, a lot of those matches are 2 minutes anyway. But something about the amount of time they have and the diversity of the opponents, the women's division in AEW seems to be better at producing wrestlers at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with you. I think Elektra Lopez is very green. Probably, if you wanted to be a dick about it, you could say she's one of the worst wrestlers in the company. But that's just at this moment. There is definitely a lot of room to improve, and she has a lot of really positive traits that you can build off of.
For
so
sure.
I would not give up on her.
I'm not. No, I'm just saying, like, as of right now, like, every match that she's had has not impressed me at all. Look at the street fight. A street fight where you can hide people's, their shortcomings. They were still super exposed in that match, right? Like, it was tough. It was bad. And it just kind of scares me to see what BFAB is going to do on the main roster on SmackDown. But at the same time, I doubt she's going to wrestle anytime soon.
I think you're completely right about all that. Although the one thing that I would say is I bet that they throw BFAB in the ring immediately. I bet they do.
Watch that happen on Friday. Anyways, the hardest working reporter in all of professional wrestling, Mackenzie Mitchell, is with Tommaso Ciampa and our boy, Braun Breaker with 2 Ks. She's asking if they can be on the same page tonight. Breaker with 2K says he's seen this before ahead of the other title matches, but there will be no misunderstanding tonight. Breaker with 2K says that that's not happening tonight, and Ciampa better watch himself. Ciampa brings up how Breaker with 2Ks previously said he had his back until Halloween Havoc, and he says he's just following what Breaker with 2K's lead is. Ciampa walks off.
Oh. It makes me laugh every time. I like this a lot. I'm just following your lead, champ. And then the actual champ walks off. I like that a lot. I thought this was a very good promo. Tommaso Ciampa doesn't cut bad promos. And Braun Breaker, God bless him, he's not nervous. This kid is confident.
Yep. Honestly, dare I say, best promo in the Steiner family.
Well, okay, so I can hear the argument that Scott Steiner is a bad promo, but I think Scott Steiner's a great promo. What a wrestling promo is, it's supposed to draw you in. It's supposed to make you want to see this guy in the ring. Scott Steiner does that. He does that. When he says, like, when he does Steiner math or he says Samoa Joe, he's fat. I want to see him suplex Samoa Joe. You know what I mean? So I think he's a great promo. But I will hear an argument that he's a terrible promo.
I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm just saying that Braun Breaker with 2Ks is better.
I think that's insane, but I understand. I understand that opinion.
All right. Then we get into a triple threat where the winner... Okay. All right. The winner of this match gets the chance to spin the wheel, make the deal. Matt, what advantage do you get from winning this match? Why would you put your body on the line? And this makes this match even worse, considering what happened when... You literally get no advantage. You have no say in what the match is. It's random. What's going on?
Not only that, Boris, but they've openly told us the wheel is fake because every time someone's making an entrance or when the show starts, the wheel is just spinning out of control, like on its own. Nobody touched it. So we already know this wheel is rigged anyway.
Actually, I think someone is behind it, to be honest, just off camera.
But, I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway, it's hilarious. It made absolutely no sense, but it was kind of just like, hey, like we're spinning the wheel a bunch of times anyway. We might as well just do something. I don't know. Like, it was kind of a dumb idea.
Are we just overanalyzing things? Can we just not have fun?
Well, you brought it up, not me.
No. But I'm just saying, like that's my counter argument to this, right? Like,
yes,
maybe we're looking too much into this. Maybe we shouldn't be analyzing this. Let the winner spin the wheel. I'm sure this has happened in the past many times.
Who doesn't want to spin a wheel, Boris?
True enough.
It's a fun thing. It's like The Price is Right.
True. All right. Io Shirai versus Persia Perota versus JC Jane. The winner of this match will get to spin the wheel. The match starts, and early on in the match... All right, early on in the match, JC Jane takes a nasty bump. What happened was... I forget who was outside.
Suicide dive.
No, I know what happened, but who was outside? Persia Perota was outside. JC Jane goes for a suicide dive. Her foot clips the rope, and she falls face first. Now, I give a lot of credit to Persia Pirotta for checking on her right away. Where this match really lost me until the commercial, and I'm so thankful that a commercial did take place, was the referee was nowhere to be seen checking up on this performer who literally just face planted, and you can clearly tell she face planted because she didn't make the dive. And then Io Shirai continues on with the match. I'm not blaming Io for this whatsoever. This is where the ref should have stepped in, checked on people, stopped this next little thing, because Io does her moonsault springboard off of the ropes onto both women on the outside. And JCJ just collapsed after this.
Now, watch this moonsault by Io. This
Yes.
is where you see Io is a true professional. This is where you see how unbelievable and how much of a veteran presence she has. She lands this moonsault on her feet, completely perfect, beautiful landing. Doesn't really touch either wrestler at all, especially not JC Jane. They're both like, it was just an absolutely picture perfect, beautiful moonsault that you could not have placed her better if you had a mouse on a computer. She was just absolutely perfect about that moonsault. But yeah, I agree with you. The ref should have stepped in, and ultimately JC Jane had to leave the match, and she did not come back after the commercial break.
Yeah.
In the picture-in-picture during commercial, it was pretty clear that something was wrong, because Io Shirai was kind of just had Persia in a submission on the ground, on the floor, as they were obviously tending to JC Jane off camera. So yeah, that kind of made the match, completely fall apart. And I do feel really bad for JC. I hope she's healthy, and I hope she doesn't have a concussion. And it's a terrible idea to put these 6 women in a ladder match. We just saw JC Jane, God bless her, get hurt on a tope suicida. They're going to be doing stuff more dangerous than a tope suicida in a ladder match, man.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So that was horrible, and I really do hope that JC Jane is all right and that she'll be able to compete next week, and that everything is cool. They were just taking precautions, but when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And if anything, Persia Pirotta, she stepped up in this match.
Yeah, she's new, but she looked pretty good. She her selling was all right. It was like she sold at the right points, and I think the right amount. You could argue that in that submission on the ground during commercial, but I'll give them a pass on that. That was kind of the weird situation. But I did really enjoy this showing from Persia Pirotta a lot. It was her first kind of big match on the main stage, and she delivered.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what my point is. I think she delivered. And it wasn't anything outstanding in terms of new stuff in this match. It was a very typical Io Shirai match. She did the 619. She did the missile dropkick. She does her moonsault. She did everything. And at one point, she had the cross-face submission in the middle of the ring. Persia powers her up, slams Shirai. Shirai comes right back up, hits a German suplex. Shirai goes on and drops Persia, then nails the big top rope moonsault for the win in, let's see,
11-11.
11-11. Yeah, so, the power to Persia Pirotta, power to Io. This match was perfectly fine. And Matt, how would you rate this match?
Yeah, so I thought, I maybe I'm going above average for Io holding it all together and just being an absolute professional. But yeah, I couldn't go lower than 3 out of 5 for this one. 3 called shots out of 5. And again, it was the Io show.
Dude, considering that this is developmental, considering that Persia Pirotta could have just melted down and injured JC Jane, the fact that so much could have gone wrong, but everyone held it together, and after the commercial, they actually had a pretty good match. I would give this match at the very least 3.
Yeah, exactly right, man. Exactly right. And there were still some problems with it, but yeah, we're gonna go 3 called shots out of 5 for this one. I thought it was a very good showing, and Io is just like one of the best workers in the company. Period. And if you need to be shown that, watch this match. Watch how she held it together.
Yep. All right. So Zoe Stark joins Io Shirai after the replays. They spin the wheel. Indy Hartwell is in the ring with Peralta. The wheel lands on a Stairway to Hell ladder match. That means that, it's going to be 6 women in a ladder match. God, watch over them all.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, and yeah, somehow like Zoe Stark is one of the veterans in this match, which is crazy. But yeah, man, yeah, it could be a mess, but it'll hopefully be pretty entertaining, and I definitely hope all 6 performers are safe. Isn't the Stairway to Hell hat on a hat? Like, Stairway to Hell is still scary enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think they need to literally throw the word scare into it to make it a double pun.
I know. Too much puns. It's all punny.
Yeah.
All right. So in the middle of that match, though, we saw LA Knight and Grayson Waller go back with jabbing each other, saying that they should host Halloween Havoc. So, it's WWE. It's wrestling. Let's have a match to see who hosts next week's Halloween Havoc.
Sure. Okay. Why not? Finally, a match with some real stakes around here, Boris.
Yep. Then Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett are saying something's going on in the back. The camera's cut backstage, and it's my boys Legado beating down on Trey Baxter while taunting his girlfriend Cora Jade. Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs run in to make the save as officials try to break things up.
This was okay. I don't mind this in small doses. It's not the worst. You feel like make it feel like a chaotic, vibrant atmosphere backstage. That's all right. It's fine.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, we get a video package on your boy Tony D'Angelo, AOAO, who will be back in action tonight. Yeah. So, what you think of this little promo?
He's doing great character work, man. I really do like Tony D'Angelo. And the fans like him too. Like the announcers like him. He's doing good. He's doing a good job. He's a 1990s character, but he's one of the better ones. He's going to be remembered well, like Skinner.
Wow. Okay. All right, so we get another coming soon teaser for Solo Sikoa. He's going to debut at Halloween Havoc next week.
Certified Oos, the street fighter of the island. I like it. Let's see what he can bring to the table, and let's see if he gets shot to the main roster in 6 months.
Yep. All right, this next segment was my favorite thing on the show. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, fair enough. I laughed. I liked it a lot, too.
All right, so we're in the bathroom. We see Kushida taking a whiz. Ike Jiro interrupts him. Jiro is excited to team up with Kushida, but Kushida says that if they're going to team up, he needs to be style strong. Jiro ends up dumping everything out of Kushida's bag, and he picks up the Back to the Future gear from the bag, and he says it's time to go back to the future. They touch wrists, and the lights go down, and we get a blue glow aura in the bathroom to end the segment.
So I thought it was funny. Ike Jiro just opens his bag and dumps all the stuff on the dirty bathroom floor. She's like, what the hell are you doing? I actually did that.
It's the subtle, dude, it was the subtlety of like, we're in the bathroom and you're dumping everything out.
Dare we say subtlety in a WWE segment? But yeah, this was actually pretty funny. I like Ike Jiro being like the crazy, bombastic one, and Kushida more the straight man of this team. I think this duo kind of has potential here.
You know what? I'm actually 100% shocked that in a Kevin Dunn, Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon run NXT, they're going to allow Kushida to run with the Back to the Future gimmick.
That's true. Yeah. But he needed something, and I'm glad that they let him have something.
Yeah. Dude, this was so cheesy and amazing all at once. I love this. All right. So it's time for Tony D'Angelo versus Ru Feng. The pop that D'Angelo got, honestly, was amazing to see. Like, it just makes me happy to see some of these characters that you and I are kind of liking actually being liked by the fans.
Now, how could you not like Tony D'Angelo, though? He's really great at this character. You can tell he's a Sopranos fan. He's just doing Tony, but he's doing a good job as like comedic wrestler Tony Soprano. He really is.
And then there's his in-ring.
Yeah, it still needs work, but I thought this was significantly better than the last time we saw him. He was more focused. He had like more of a I don't know, like aggression, more of that physical vibe. He wasn't just in there doing stuff. He was trying to win a wrestling match, and I thought he looked way better this time. He still needs work, but I think he's got it, you know, and that's enough.
Short match went only 1 minute 46 seconds. Tony D'Angelo won with a swinging fisherman's neck breaker. I call it the Gaba Cruel. Matt calls it.
Let's go with the Bada Bing, or we could even call it the Gumar Clamp. There's a number of things we could call it. Let's come up with a new one every week until they name it. But yeah, it's also known, Perry Saturn used to call it the three-handled moss-covered family Gradunzel, Boris.
Yep, exactly. I like our names more.
Same. I thought this was solid, but at the end of the day, it was every WWE squash you've ever seen. So we're gonna go 2.5 called shots out of 5, 50% Mendoza line kind of match. But it was better than the last one. He's improving.
Yeah, he is. Samantha Irvin interviews Tony D'Angelo in the middle of the ring, asking if he knows anything about Lash Legends producer Mark going missing. Tony asks if she's some kind of snitch or something. He swears on the grave of his great-grandfather and says he knows nothing. Hands her some cash, tells her to go buy something nice for herself and to forget about it.
I swear on my grandfather's grave that I know nothing about nothing. But hey, you get yourself something nice, and he just puts it in her head. Man, he's a really good promo. Crowd popped hard for this. They laughed out loud at "Get Yourself Something Nice." You heard laughter in a WWE audience, real laughter. Man, this kid's got something. This Tony D'Angelo, I'm telling you.
He really does. I'm still flabbergasted at how such a stereotypical, borderline almost racist character is getting so over.
Well, I've read on the internet that you can't be racist to Italians. No, but I do think it's just at the end of the day, it's on the performer, and this guy's a good performer. Period.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we go back to Duke's poker room with Duke Hudson. He makes some big plays, gets the best of an unknown person. He says his poker room is always open, so is mine. Wink, wink. Duke says whether it's in the ring or in the poker room, he is the house, and the house always wins.
That's some kind of dirty euphemism, Boris. Anyway, I thought this was pretty good too. Not quite as good as the great Tony D'Angelo, but Duke Hudson is a good speaker. And this poker character, it's weird. It's 15 years too late. But again, the performer behind it is actually a pretty damn good performer.
I still say it's 5 years too early, but here's the thing. Here's like all joking aside, I think this is Duke Hudson. I think he must be a poker player, and he feels super comfortable with this character.
You can tell he's comfortable. He's very comfortable in his own skin. Super confident kid, this Duke Hudson, for sure.
Yep. All right. The music of Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs hits. They're not coming out. The cameras cut backstage, and we see Jensen laid out. Briggs and the referee are checking on him. Joaquin goes wild on him, drops Briggs with a steel chair. Legado's wild Raul. Santos Escobar and Electra Lopez head to the ring as we go to commercial.
Yeah, interesting. I like the way this was shot. They went up the ramp with it, like reverse entrance style. I thought that was pretty cool. Fine little bit of heat to add to the heels.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this match was interesting. This match, I gotta say, as common as Brooke Jensen and Josh Briggs' characters are, as okay as their in-ring is, I think they're really working. I think this really works for them.
Yeah, I think it's a good character. And the first time I saw Brooks Jensen, I said he was one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. This he's improved to the point where I barely noticed him, so that's okay. That's better than like noticeably terrible, you know. Just kind of there, vanilla is a significant improvement on that.
Yeah. So this match went about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, question for you, Matt. Considering the attack before the match, did Legado look weak? Should they have finished this match and got the win earlier?
Maybe, but you know what? I didn't even consider that until you said it. So they didn't look that weak. But now that you bring that up, yes, that probably makes sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, maybe this speaks to how they're tough they are, right? Like to me, they are the country boys APA, right? Like this. I feel like they're that character.
Briggs and Brooks Protection Agency, the B&B Protection. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. All right, so Briggs is taken off the apron. Mendoza and Walt hit a running knee Russian leg sweep combo for the win at 5 minutes 30 seconds ish, as you put it, because this match did start in the middle of the commercial.
Yes. So yeah, we don't know the exact length, but yeah, they don't have a name for their tag team finisher yet, Legado? Not that I have caught anyway. But it's the Russian leg sweep with like a non-rotating Trouble in Paradise kick to the face. It's like a no 360 Trouble in Paradise.
Yeah, exactly. So how would you rate this match?
I would say this to me felt like an average tag team match out of WWE, and Legado did a decent job. But yeah, they're in there with two guys who are pretty green. So we're going to go 2.5 called shots out of 5. Mendoza line for this one as well.
All right. So I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on BAM. But I felt so disrespected at this point. Not only did Sportsnet cut the Dodgers game on live TV to watch another team, 2 other baseball teams. Anyways, but Legado. What is going on with Legado at this point? Where do you see them going? Like, it just seems very weird. It seems very awkward, like you said, or maybe I was thinking it. Santos cannot go for the North American title right now. He needs a big rehab win program.
I wonder who you'd slot him with. Well, he can beat like the Grayson Wallers of the world, but yeah, I kind of agree. I'm a little worried, but they do good work. They are all entertaining and good in the ring, except for Elektra. But I don't know. I think they'll be fine. But do I see them like going to the main roster and holding titles? No, not necessarily.
No, I think this is it for them. I really do think that if they didn't make the move this time, they're not going to, unfortunately.
Now we'll see. We'll see. They are good. So who knows? Maybe they'll Vince McMahon will notice one day. But yeah, I'm worried.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just they're in such a weird position. Even in this match, like I said, they weren't made to look super strong. Elektra Lopez lost with to Cora Jade, of all people in this human world. And Santos Escobar, he's got nothing right now. So, I don't know. It's really weird. They're in a really weird position. But we'll see what ends up happening. So, after this, we get a video package and an awesome video package for Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez next week. What did you think?
I like this. Raquel Gonzalez, badass fighter. Mandy Rose, hot model type. And, it's a personality clash. It's a style clash. But yeah, this video was pretty good at telling you who both of these people are and what their motivations are. I thought this was pretty good little hype package. Mandy Rose looking good.
Yes. All right. So after this, we have a host on a pole match, not really on a pole, just host on the line match, LA Knight versus Grayson Waller. Man, Grayson Waller is really starting to grow on me. I don't know why. He's got no character. He's got nothing, but he's just a fun, charismatic guy.
Yeah, his character is generic European daredevil guy. Like, generic will jump off a cliff, man. But I think his in-ring is pretty, like, it's very exciting. He's like he's a tall guy who does cruiserweight moves. I like Grayson Waller. He's growing on me for sure.
Yep. It's just very weird. It's just a very short match overall. This match went 2 minutes 47 seconds, and LA Knight won with his blunt force trauma.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much nothing to this. Again, I wouldn't sit on a hill and call it bad, but I also couldn't tell you it was good. So we're going to go Mendoza line yet again, 2.5 called shots out of 5 for this one. But Grayson Waller does kind of stand out in this NXT. You want to see him more in the ring. Yep.
All right, so back from the break, we get another cryptic dark vignette for that mystery wrestler debuting or returning next week at Halloween Havoc. Who do you think it is?
So they threw, I was kind of on the fence on this until part of the things that she was throwing in to the grave she was burying, one of the things was a crutch. And I think that was a shout that is either Toni Storm or Dakota Kai. I think it's going to be Dakota Kai. I think this character is reset for Dakota Kai in NXT. She also threw like a WWE chair in there. So I think this is going to be talking about, like, she tried to go to the main roster, kind of failed a little bit, and now she's back to be a badass ass kicker. And I don't know, maybe they're going to actually have Raquel beat Mandy Rose, and Dakota could take the title from Raquel.
Interesting. Very interesting. I do think it's Dakota Kai. I am convinced it is a woman now. But yeah, we'll see. I honestly thought it was Elias at first. But yeah, I love how at the end of the day, both of our options are people coming back to NXT.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so this character threw into a grave a crutch and a WWE live event chair. So I do think that's going to be symbolism for Dakota Kai. That's what I think it is.
And everything was dark, so that also symbolizes all the dark matches she's been in.
I love it. 5 stars.
Thank you. All right, Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, they're tearing up the locker room looking for a missing NXT North American title. They pulled a Jericho. One of the lockers is lit up with spider webs in it. Trick pulls out a paper. Apparently, it's a drawing by Dexter Lumis, where Lumis and Johnny Gargano tell Trick and Hayes to visit an open house or a haunted house next week to get the title back. Trick doesn't like haunted houses, but Hayes wants his title back. They walk off, and that ends the segment.
Trick Williams did a good job selling a stupid WWE joke. He pulled the thing out and he read it backwards, and he's like, "What is this, Da Vinci Code?" And it was just such a base, dumb joke that you would write and throw out, but they actually did it. But he sold it so well that I was like, it's Trick Williams. He's gonna be okay. He can really sell this crap material.
Hayes and Williams, like, honestly, they're so good together.
So good.
Yep. All right, so the announcers announced that the Imperium MSK match will also be a spin the wheel, make the deal match.
I wonder what kind of stipulation we get there. Do you think we go 2 out of 3 falls? Do you think we go like cage match? What do you think we're going to get?
Casket match.
Tag team casket match.
Tag team casket match. And you know the crowd is going to go insane if MSK loses.
I love it. I love the tag team casket match concept.
But the question is Marty Jannetty free so that they can rise?
Who will resurrect? Who will be risen to the ashes? Yeah, man, that's hilarious. I'm sure Marty Jannetty's free, to answer your question. Yes,
from jail or free?
Yeah, perhaps he's not free.
Oh, Lord. All right, so it's time for the main event. Grizzled Young Veterans versus can they coexist? Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker with 2 Ks. What'd you think of this match?
Could you imagine a tag team of people, Boris, that aren't getting along? Crazy. What a concept.
There's a few tropes. Hold on. Before we get to this, not just because you said this, there's a few tropes in wrestling that I am absolutely sick of, that both WWE and AEW and ROH and any Impact do.
This is definitely one of them. This is like the straight up Vince McMahon playbook. Though this is like almost the Vince McMahon senior playbook. I think they used to do this in the WWF.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive. Someone would have to confirm that. But I think that they've been doing this for like 50 years.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, yeah, there's a few things right now in wrestling that is just a little too much, but maybe we say it's too much because we watch like 20,000 hours of wrestling a week now.
It's a fair point.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought this was the best thing on the show. I thought this was a pretty strong match, and I'm excited for the main event next week.
You know what the best thing on this match was? When Braun Breaker with 2 Ks put on the Steiner recliner.
Yes, the Breaker Regraker. I don't even know what you'd call this move now.
I don't even know. Oh, Lord. But yeah, no, that was great. This match was good. This match was fun. Like, I gotta say, Braun Breaker doesn't look like a rookie.
Oh, no, it's his confidence level.
Yeah.
He's just so, like, sure of himself in there. He knows exactly what he's going to do. He has his spots. He hits them well. And, yeah, man, it's going to be awesome to see what he can do in a long match, because for these little 2-minute bursts, he's got it figured out. He's got it figured out. But he's going to go probably at least 10 next week.
Yeah, but he's also got some of the psychology down, right? Like the giving the eyes to Ciampa, the I'm gonna beat you up, but we're in the middle of a match type stuff, like those non-tangible things that guys just have to have. He seems to have them.
You either get it or you don't. This kid gets it big time.
Yeah, exactly. So at one point, Ciampa gives Breaker a hard slap of a tag. Breaker almost attacks him, but the champion ducked, allowing Drake to take the heavy offense. Braun Breaker with 2 Ks, one with the military press power slam.
Yeah, very good showing. Man, this kid is 23 years old at this moment. He's about to turn 24, Braun Breaker is. But yeah, just the whole world ahead of him. He could be a star for 15, 20 years in wrestling, at least. It's really like, I'm excited for this main event. I thought this was a good match. We're going to go as high as 3.5 called shots out of 5, 70%. Best thing on the show. And let's do it next week, buddy.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, the match essentially ended. Both guys just stare at each other, and that was it.
Yes, sir. So I guess I'll go through the Halloween Havoc card, and we can go from there. So the main event is going to be the NXT men's title. It's Braun Breaker versus Tommaso Ciampa in a straight-up 1-versus-1 singles match. We also have the NXT women's title, which is Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal. Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez. We have the NXT men's tag team titles, Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal. Imperium versus MSK. And we have the NXT women's tag team titles, which is a Scare Way to Hell ladder match. That's Io Shirai and Zoe Stark champions versus Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada. And we assume Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. But JC Jane may have a concussion, so that sucks. Also, Solo Sikoa, who is himself certified Uso, son of Rikishi and brother of the Usos, wrestles his first match in NXT.
Yep, exactly. So we'll see. That's going to look fun. Anything else you want to say about this episode of NXT 2.0 before we move on to NXT UK?
If this is what it is now, I still feel bad for Triple H. I still feel bad for the LA Knights, the Johnny Garganos, the Kyle O'Reillys, who did not sign up for this. They signed up for like the Super Indie and shows in front of 40,000 people, like from time to time, you know what I mean? If they can get into an arena. But 20,000, not 40,000, sorry. Anyway, I feel bad for the performers, but I actually do like the direction of this. If it's going to be developmental, this is actually watchable. This is okay. This was the best NXT 2.0 show.
Agreed. All right. You know what that means? It is time for NXT UK on NXT UK Corner. And once again, we had... Actually, not only was this once again the best hour of WWE TV, but this particular episode may have been one of the best episodes of NXT UK that we have reviewed.
100%. I really, really like the show. I will watch NXT UK every week, no matter what. This is the best show on WWE TV. I think this was better than Rampage or SmackDown, like the following day.
Yep. 100%.
The big Rampage versus SmackDown Friday Night War was the next day, and I didn't watch SmackDown. I did watch Rampage and the buy-in, and I thought, man, NXT UK is as good as this show, or better some weeks. Like, I obviously, you could argue the main event, but I did kind of think maybe Dragunov versus A-Kid was, I don't know if I want to say better than Suzuki Danielson. It was right on that level. So this, man, if you're sleeping on NXT UK, it's your loss. If you can work in 50 minutes a week, 45 minutes a week for this brand, please do it. It's really, really good. It really, really is.
Yeah, 100%. I thought it was I would honestly rate A-Kid and Dragunov, Danielson and Suzuki the same level. Like, they were so different, but yet so perfectly and well done.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree with you more, man. But yeah, let's get into this show quick and tell you about it.
All right, so we saw a returning Blair Davenport. She's been suspended, but Stevie Turner wanted her, so Blair Davenport was reinstated. So match number 1 was Stevie Turner versus Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport just continues to dominate, but this was a pretty good match overall. Stevie Turner got a bit of offense, but not in this was a squash match. She shouldn't have gotten offense. This was a very good match.
Yeah, very much so. It was brief, like you said. It went 4 minutes 42 seconds. Blair Davenport ends up winning after a not a squash, semi-competitive bout, as they would say. She wins with the Falcon Arrow. She does the deal, Boris.
Here's the thing. I laughed so hard. Did you notice that right before she kneed her with the Kamigoye, she said, "Knee ya later"?
I actually missed that. Tip of the cap to you, Blair Davenport. Very good.
She might be my new favorite wrestler right now just because of that.
Just a good pun. That's all Boris needs. That's a key to the man's heart right there.
Yep. So as Matt mentioned, Blair Davenport won with a Falcon Arrow. How many crumpets, how many supernovas would you give this match?
It was a little too short to be anything more than, I would say, 3 supernovas out of 5, but that might be underrating it, because there was not a second of this that was bad in any way. C, but the C might be too low for this one. There's a pretty strong match, but that's what I wrote down, so let's stick with it.
Yep, Davenport reminds all the ladies in the back that she's back, ready to dominate the locker room, and I really like the presentation of this. Like it was kind of cool to see with the lights turned down, and and whatnot. It was really cool.
Yep. Yep. Fully co-signed.
Yep. All right. So we see Ilya Dragunov getting warmed up for his main event match. Noam Dar. Poor Noam Dar. No one came to his celebration party. So last week, Noam Dar won the NXT UK Heritage Cup Contenders Tournament. And Shaw Samuels tried to arrange a party, but no one was there.
Because Noam Dar is a heel shitbag. He's a sleazy greaseball. No one wants to hang out with him. I love it.
Yep. All right. And Shaw Samuels talks about his match against Flash Morgan Webster. So that was that. Teoman is very upset for coming up short in the Heritage Cup tournament. Rohan Raja tries to cheer him up, but Teoman assures him things will get better once they expand their family.
Yes, so that's very interesting too. Couple awesome promos back to back here. I like this Teoman character. You like him a little bit more than I do, but the Godfather of NXT it is. Not in the Tony Soprano bada bing way, but in the he's pulling the strings.
Yep. All right. Sid Scala tells Ginny that she'll get her NXT UK title match in not 1, not 2, but 3 weeks.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's build up to a future match. Another good little promo, and I actually laughed out loud, hard. Ginny's closing line here as she's walking out, she just looks over her shoulder to Sid Scala and says, "Word of advice, burn your clothes." And it was just her delivery on that. I did not see that coming at all. And yeah, the fashionista, she is an awesome character. She's not only a good wrestler, but she can cut a good promo too. This Ginny, she's going places. In a fair world, she'd be on the main roster getting a push.
Yeah, 100%. Whatever happened to Kaylee Ray?
That's so funny. Hopefully they kind of just have her in limbo because they don't quite know what to do with her, but she's going to come up soon. But I was surprised she wasn't picked in the draft. I'm actually a little worried. If AEW gets their hands on Kaylee Ray, oof, she could be a huge addition to the women's roster on that show. Huge. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right, this leads us into the next match with Shaw Samuels versus Flash Morgan Webster. Man, Shaw Samuels wrestling gear, just makes me laugh. The suspenders on the trunks.
Yeah. Man, did you see the weight loss? The Shaw Samuels weight loss? Did you see like the before and after pics?
Yep.
This guy has gotten himself into incredible shape. And I actually read a lot about it. And he's a new father, and he's working out with his kids. He's like kind of like motivating. They're going on walks, and he's kind of trying to add some exercise to the family. So good for him. That's just a good thing to do. It's just like, as a human being, like tip of the cap to you. And the work is paid off. He looks great. He's looked like he's dropped like 65, 70 pounds. Like he's shredded. Kid's got abs.
Yeah, and also he was saying that, back in 2019, he was signed to WWE, but he failed a medical, so he couldn't get the contract way back when. So yeah, so it's just between that, being a new father, dude, he looks amazing.
Yeah, like I'm really impressed, and like it's like a feel good story, honestly. Like good for you, Shaw Samuels.
Yeah. Webster clocks Samuels with a nasty looking headbutt, but he stumbles right into a spine buster from Samuels. He caught him after a springboard off the middle rope, did this awesome looking spine buster. Shaw Samuels wins.
Like a double A spine buster out of a springboard. And it was brutal. It was one of the best spine busters. It was Arn Anderson-esque for sure. It was like straight out of WrestleMania 5, or no, the Survivor Series versus Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. It was honestly crazy. So yeah, this match was fun. Shaw Samuels looks pretty damn good. Flash Morgan Webster, he's talented. So how would you rate this match?
Yeah, exactly right. We're going to go 3.5 supernovas out of 5, 70%. It's a B. Good job on you, Shaw Samuels. Want to see more.
Yep, we see A-Kid also preparing for his career-altering match. He takes off his headphones, put his jacket on. Then we go to Nina Samuel, and the Nina Samuel show is in full effect. She helps set up a future match with Zaya Brooks and Aaliyah James.
I like Nina Samuels. Her like delusional "I'm a star" gimmick it's working for her.
Yep. And then your boy, Jordan Devlin, he wants a rematch against Joe Coffey. Devlin promises an ace can power an Iron King any day.
Boris, this is why it's important to not dig our heels in. It's important to evolve, because I'm glad that I didn't just be like, no, Jordan Devlin sucks, because I would be missing out on a great performer. Jordan Devlin rules. I don't know what my problem was. He's actually pretty goddamn good.
It's the same problem I have with Cora Jade.
Sometimes the heart wants what it wants, and sometimes the heart hates what it hates.
Yep. All right. Now it's time for the main event. The NXT UK Championship match. Ilya Dragunov, your champ, versus A-Kid. Where do we start?
Man, just such a good bit of like match, just storytelling, just work, just everything. 19 minutes and 21 seconds, so it was long, but it wasn't too long. It did not overstay its welcome. Just like a masterclass in wrestling this match was. Ilya Dragunov versus A-Kid for the NXT UK title we're talking about, by the way. Just, oh man, so good. William Regal actually tweeted out that this would be the type of match that they show wrestlers in the Performance Center. They're going to be teaching this match, basically. So you could say it was like a classic. Like, it was that good. I'm actually wrestling, like I said, was this better than Suzuki versus Danielson, or was it worse?
Here's one argument to make it better. The selling and the storytelling of the selling.
Yes, yeah, working over each other's injuries in this match, and just all of like the layers of selling. Like, I actually thought the announcers should have hit. There's a point when A-Kid hits Dragunov with a super kick as Dragunov's going in for Torpedo Moscow, and he crumples underneath his own legs, and Ilya Dragunov is like basically pinned, completely screwed. A-Kid's on top of him while Dragunov is like bent over on top of his own legs. And I really thought the announcer should have been like, he can't kick out. It's over. And then Dragunov like barely got his shoulder off the mat. This is the only thing he could have done. There's so much going on. This match actually would reward multiple viewings. I'm going to watch it again before the year is done to properly slot it in my list. But it's like top 25 of the year, at least. No lower.
No, 100%. Like, this match, just so good. The selling, the storytelling, the hits, the one thing that makes me cringe is Dragunov's punches to the head. But you know what? There was at one point they start this slap fest in the middle of the ring, and it was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, man. That's what I mean. Like, as good as Danielson versus Suzuki was, it was kind of all slap fest, wasn't it? It was a lot of the fighting spirit. And I don't mean to belittle it at all, but I feel like this match was a more complete wrestling match overall, you know?
Yeah, bell to bell, it had wrestling, but it also had your Suzuki-esque fisticuffs, right? Like,
yes.
That and like I say, the storytelling, the selling was just insane. Like, throughout the entire match, their knees, their ribs, their back, and they kept selling them. Both of them would slowly get up because of whatever injury they have. Ilya Dragunov would slowly climb to the top rope because his knee's out. Right? Like, it just, that stuff. It was just so well done. The reversals, A-Kid trying to get that triangle on Dragunov, but Dragunov just constantly, just his last clutch effort. It was just so well done.
Yes, absolutely. And Ilya Dragunov, we know we're in good hands with this guy, man. Every time he gets in the ring, we're gonna have a great match. He's like the he's like a combination of Finn Balor and William Regal with like a little Dean Malenko and a little Minoru Suzuki thrown in there. Like, this kid is just great. He's something special, Ilya Dragunov. Really is.
I'm thinking about my lists for the end of the year, and he might be very close to top of Wrestler of the Year for me.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. I couldn't make you a top 5, maybe a top 10, and not put him on it this year. For sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so A-Kid applied an armbar. Dragunov hoists him up, drops him on the mat with a power bomb. A-Kid holds the armbar in place. Dragunov sends A-Kid away with a beautiful torpedo Moscow, and he got the win in almost 20 minutes, and he lives to fight another day as NXT UK champ.
Yes, 19 minutes, 21 seconds, 4.5 supernovas out of 5. A+, 90%, match of the year contender. Watch this wrestling match.
100%. It was honestly just not, you know what? I'm going to say it. Best match of last week, might be the best match of the month. This is going to be on our top match list for sure, and near the top-ish. Such a good match.
Definitely, I like right on the level with Danielson versus Suzuki. I'm telling you, go check this one out.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Matt, it's that time.
Word up. Well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. Keep your eyes peeled. YouTube Operation Sports. I got a new video up talking about the flaws with NHL 22. A great game with some tragic flaws, but such is life. And Boris, we're hanging in there. We're swinging away. Gonna come back with BAM G1 Finals Thursday morning. And yeah, that's that.
Yeah, we have a lot to go through. ballergear.ca for all your merch. As a patron, you're getting a lot, including a special Crown Jewel review on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, yes, sir. The Smack Daddies, the East Coast dads holding it down on what is, on paper, by far the best Saudi show.
Yep. He's Matt. I'm Boris. The show is NXT Talk. Goodbye.
Yeah.